Hey, welcome back to the channel. We got a good one for you this time, so stay tuned. Alright folks, well here's the guitar we're going to do on this episode. Right here, it's a little 335 kind of looking double cut. F-holes, hollow body, black. It's got 2 humbuckers on it. Nice little inlays on it. Binding up and down the neck, both sides. Looks like it's got a decent nut in it. And what kind of guitar is this? Well, it's a Firefly. Firefly's pretty good guitars, I hear. You know, they say they're pretty good quality, and they're good for, modding if you want to put a few new parts in there. And they're definitely good for getting a nice setup and getting taken care of. And that's what we're going to do to this one. We're going to go through everything, get it all nice and, beautiful. I noticed that there is still plastic on the pick guard, which is always nice. Maybe we'll just leave it on there. And everything is looking real good on it. Let's turn it around and see what the back looks like. And it's a little bit dusty, but it's got a little contoured back to it. It's black. It's got binding on both sides. That's nice. Real nice looking up through here. Yeah, it's set neck. It's always a plus. On a Firefly, you get a set neck. You get binding up and down the sides. Look how beautiful this guitar is. I mean, it's not slouching at all. You get up here, you get these nice little tuners in here. They're not really nothing special, but, I'm sure they do the job. There's no serial number or anything like that on these. Looks like there might have been, used to be a sticker right there. But, real nice little neck on it. And this belongs to one of my good customers, and he wants to get it all set up so that it's playing nice and smooth and easy, and that's going to be no problem. Looks like everything is looking pretty good on it. The fretboard, I don't know, it looks like there's like glue marks on it or something like that. It's hard to tell what that is. That might be just the old shine, but it looks sort of like, like super glue marks. So maybe this was, I don't know. But anyways, we're going to get it all cleaned up, make it look real nice, make it play real nice. And so what do you say we get started on this one, huh? What do you say? Bam! Alright. Well, we're going to get started on this. And usually the first place we start is to, take the strings off of it. And just kind of keep an eye on things, make sure everything's right. We're going to take the truss rod cover off. Take the strings off it. And then we'll start on the neck. So, we'll get out the string winder here, and I'm going to just take a few turns off of these strings here. Each one of these strings, I'm going to loosen it up a couple of turns. Takes this tension off the strings, makes it a little bit easier so that they don't, when you go to cut them, they don't go pling. No, they're not under tension. I like everything to be loosened up. I don't want to cut tight strings. Alright. We'll get my cutters out. And when you're cutting stuff like this, you want to be kind of careful not to hit the guitar or anything like that. So we'll take the bridge out of it right there. Just take the bridge out. We got all the strings on it right there. We should take these and we're just going to chuck these right in the garbage. I emptied this garbage can this morning, and man, it was just full of strings and string wrappers. Alright, well, we're going to take the bridge off of here. We're just kind of inspecting for any kind of hanky-panky here. Anything going wrong. It doesn't seem like, well, there we go, it comes off there. So we're going to make sure that goes back on easily. And our posts here, I think we're going to go ahead and just take those off too. They seem like they're awful sloppy. And I hate that. These should be nice and, you shouldn't be all the way in and still shake around like that. But I guess under tension and stuff like that, when it's under, the pressure of the bridge and the strings and stuff like that, I guess it's going to be alright. Let's see how these are. Yeah, these feel pretty good. But we're taking this off here because we want to clean down here, and I'm going to take off the pick guard too. The pick guard also. So we'll just take this right here. We're going to clean underneath here. We're going to shine this black up because, you know, black is, I mean, this black guitar is in really nice shape. It's not beat up at all. It's just a little dusty. Not really scratched up too much. We're going to take this pick guard off of it. And that way we can get to cleaning it real nice. And I've seen where the underneath of these pick guards can be kind of dirty and nasty sometimes. Sure could use a small power screwdriver. My one that I had kind of died on me because, of course, it was too cheap. And I was too cheap. We didn't buy a good one, but a cheap one, and it didn't last. All right, we're going to take the strings off of this. Take them off the rest of the way. Somebody put them on there just the way, put them on there the right way, so I appreciate that, because they're nice and easy to take off. And what we do is we take them and we put a little circle like that, you know, and then we throw them in the garbage, so that way they're not all over the place. All right. Oh, look at that. Little straggler. You see him. Okay, I'll get you in there. Oh. Oh, you're just going to have to stay on the floor. Okay. Anyways, it's looking pretty good down here. You know, a little bit of dirty down there. The switch seems to be, you know, and I tried all this before we plugged it in. Make sure all the controls were working and everything like that. And they're working. Everything's working. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on down here to the neck. Let's see what we're looking like right here. That looks pretty good. All right, maybe we'll zoom in a little bit. All right. First thing we want to do is we're going to take our truss rod cover off down here. Can you see that? Take our truss rod cover off. And am I missing something? Well, I think I need a smaller screwdriver for that. It's like really tiny. Yeah, there we go. I got lucky. I was going to come back and say, hey man, I have to go find something, but I found it. There we go. Tiny little screws. Tiny and long. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Coming out. Ooh. They put them in there good. Alright, we're going to take that off there. And just give a little blow. There's a lot of stuff in there. Okay? Alright, first thing we're going to do, we're going to just take our truss, or we're going to take our straight edge here. Got a straight edge. This right across this side is perfectly straight. We're going to take that, we're going to sort of set it across there. And it's not rocking or anything, so that's a good sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the straight edge, and then I got this little feeler gauge right here, basically is what it is, a little piece of metal. It's so floppy, really, really thin. See, in fact, if you turn it sideways, it practically disappears. See? Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this across here, and I'm just going to come in here from this side, and just come in here and just kind of measure and see. I'm trying to get my fretboard as flat as I can possibly get it. See, it doesn't go through on the ends down here. It doesn't go through on the first fret, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth, or the sixth, or it goes under the sixth, and the seventh, and eighth. See, it goes all the way underneath there till it gets down to the end, and then it doesn't go through anymore. So what that tells me is that it's a little bit low right here in the middle. Right here in the middle, it's a little bit low, you know. So what I got to do is I got to tighten up the truss rod so that it raises this up, because that's what it does when you tighten it. It makes it bow out, and when you loosen it, it allows the strings to bow it in. And Let's see what we got for a truss rod. This thing. Let's try this one. Look at that, first try. So what I gotta do now is I gotta tighten it just a little bit, and it's still righty-tighty. So we'll give it about like that. And then what I like to do sometimes is, see what I'm trying to do by tightening this is trying to pop this wood up. So what I'll try to do, sometimes I'll try to help a little bit by picking up here and pushing down with this hand, pushing down at the front, picking up in the middle, sort of making it go the way I want it to go, okay? That helps it out a little bit, okay? Now, set my straight edge back on there, and we'll see if we've made any progress. And we have. But, still a little bit low there, low. See now if I'm hitting right here, but I don't know if you can see underneath there. Okay, now maybe we'll tighten it a little bit. Alright. Now let's see here. Okay. Now I'm resting this on the first fret. The end of this right here is on the first fret, okay? And we're gonna put it right down the middle and see where we're hitting right there, but it slides under, slides under, then it hits, basically hits, okay? So I got a couple down here that are just not quite hitting. So I can tighten this just a little bit more. Move right down a little bit, okay? I can tighten this just a little bit more and see what happens. Maybe we try to bend it a little bit more down here, you know. Give a little bit of love down there, okay? Let's try this out, see how close we get. And basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it as close to perfectly level all the way across as I can possibly get it. So, we're going to keep trying. It's a little low there, still a little bit low. Looks like these two frets right here are a little bit low. And then the rest of them are good. Oh, until I get down to the end and it's lifted, so it's a little bit high in the middle. We went a little too far. So, we got to loosen it up a little bit. We'll help that a little bit. And I think on this one, see I'm hitting there. See, this one here has some high frets. It's got a couple of low frets here, you know, and then they hit, and then they don't hit. They don't hit, barely hit at the end. See, I'm going to try to take that out just a little bit. I want it to hit down here and on the ends. I don't like it when it's, you know, but it's telling me I got a high fret in there probably, so just keep lowering it down a little bit until it starts. And, you know, this is kind of not an exact science. No. You just got to kind of, if you adjust in little increments and keep measuring and stuff like that, you should be all right. Alright, so let's try it right about here, and we're going to give it a little bit of pushing down on it. Let's try that. I don't know. I think I might have it. Right there. It's kind of still not riding on the first one, so I guess I'll loosen just a little bit. Tell you what, when I get this thing perfect and level and everything like that, I'll be back. Alrighty. I got this thing just about as flat as I can possibly get it. And it does have a couple of high frets on it, and we're going to take care of those. But basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take You've probably seen this before. We're going to take this marker right here, and I'm going to make a line on the top of every one of these frets. Okay. Then I'm going to take a leveling beam. I'm going to take a level sanding beam, and we're going to go across here, and we're going to keep going. We're going to use this black marker to read where we're hitting, where we're cutting at, where we're low, you know, what's going on. It kind of tells how we're, you know, how it's doing. So we can tell where we're cutting. Because when it removes the marker, we know we're sanding there. If it's not removing the marker, we know we're not sanding. And we need to be. Okay? So I got this little, it has some 600 on it. And the 600 is not real aggressive. It's pretty smooth, not much to it. Take you a half hour to file your nails with it if you're trying to. But we're not trying to really do a lot. We're just trying to get it smooth, get it level. So I'm going to stick this on here. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. Keeping the leveling beam on the first fret. I don't want to go off the first fret with it. And I'm just holding it in the middle. We're just kind of going back and forth nice and easy a few times. And I'll kind of roll it off the edge a little bit. You know, just a little bit. That kind of tells what's going on too. Okay, now, I got it down here. I take my magnifying glass here. See, whoa, we can look at it. No, look at it like that, okay? Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get down here and I'm going to see, is it cutting? Yes, it's cutting on the first fret. It's kind of cutting on the second one. The third one, yes. The fourth one, Fifth one, not at all. Sixth one, not at all. Seventh, not at all. Eighth, not at all. So down here, down the middle, I'm starting to cut here on about the 11th fret, just starting to. 12th fret's cutting. 13th, 14th, 15th, and there's a little one right down there about the 17th ain't cutting. And, you know, so we got a little ways to go on it. So that's what we can tell by this. So, you know, we know where we got some of the ones that are cut all the way across. Those are our high frets. Ones that were basically, you know, sanded all the way across. That's the high ones. Another thing I'll do is I'll go this way with it too a little bit. Sort of, you know, when you're sanding one way, you're putting scratches in it this way. So this way, I'll go this way and cut against those scratches I've already been doing. And I'm going to lay this down. Give it just a little bit more stability. That way I can press down a little bit more. Now I'm going to go off the first fret just a little bit. Seem to be pretty much got things kind of smoothed out here. A little bit. And where you put weight on the leveling beam is kind of important too. You know, and how hard you're pressing, you know. And the other thing you want to do is you want to keep the sandpaper cleaned and you want to check your progress, see how you're doing. You know. Cutting good on down there. They're starting to cut. Not cutting it all, starting to cut a little bit. Alright, we're getting down there. We're not taking a whole lot off, but we are getting there. So, that's all that's important. We're getting there. Slow but sure. I want to take off more of these frets than I have to get it level, you know. That way it'll play nice. Anyways, you've seen this, and when I get done leveling, I'll be back. Alright, I got all them nasty fret ends all whipped into shape down through here. Yeah, they feel much better. Hey. Is that something I feel? Maybe I take that out with the sandpaper. I ain't really too worried about that. So there's something in there. Oh well, whatever. Anyways, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this fret file here. And we're going to go over these frets, and we flatten the top of them. So now we're going to put a little point on them. And we'll figure out which size frets those are. We're going to go with some mediums right there. So we're just going to kind of take this and set it on there and go back and forth until it feels smooth. You know, if you feel like it's grabbing, it's probably cutting. It's probably getting to the shape that you want it. And when it gets smooth, it is the shape you want it. You know, I feel that that's pretty smooth, and I can look at it too, and it looks like it's smoothed off the whole thing. It's not flat anymore on top. And what I'll do is I'll go over this from this side, and then I'll flip it around and go over it from the other side. Same way, it sort of seems to help, you know. And then we'll be done doing the fret filing, and with that, just gets it really nice and round on top, so that it's not flat, and you got a nice, definite place for the string to ride, so that your intonation is good and on point. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these up right here, and like before, I'll be back. All right, folks, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Basically, you know, I had some super glue on the neck, around where the frets were and stuff. It was driving me crazy, so I've been going after that, trying to get that cleaned up. Just trying to get the fretboard cleaned up. Had glue sticking out, you know, and I've been going around trying to scrape out by the cracks and all the crevices. And well, we got it pretty clean now. So the next step, well, we went over it with some 1,000. Some 1,200 and some 2,000 sandpaper to kind of smooth these frets out. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go over it with some good old steel wool. And the steel wool is on a big old magnet, so that I don't lose out any of the little fibers and stuff like that, because it likes to shed. And we already smoothed down the wood on the fretboard a little bit. And now we're going to even smooth it down even more with this steel wool, because, you know, we want the fretboard to be nice and smooth. And we're shining up those frets as we speak. You know, those frets are getting nice and shiny. I'm just going to sort of go up and down the neck like this. And you'll be surprised how shiny and how smooth the fretboard feels after you're done doing this. And I don't have to really worry too much about it getting on the pickup, because I have the magnet on there. I like that. Alright. And I'm going to kind of dig in between those frets there with the corner of this steel wool and this magnet. That's one thing about the magnet. It kind of gives it a little bit of a structure, so you can kind of get into places you want to get into with the steel wool and shine at the same time. So, you know, I'm getting in there real good. We're going over it twice. Really trying to get the wood nice and smooth. You know. Alright, let's try this again. The battery just died on me. So, because I didn't have it plugged in. Kind of helps when you do that, huh? But anyways, we're shining up this fretboard down here. And I'm getting down here. I got a couple of spots that I would really like to see a little bit smoother. You know. And then we're working on those. So I'll kind of go around in a little circle sometimes. Just to kind of get things. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything with that. Or that right there. Yep, that's going to stay there. Or maybe not. It went away, yay! I know I ain't going to get that big scratch out of there, though. Yeah, just about. Okay, anyways, that looks good now. Alright, now we're going to stick that back up there. Give this a blow off right there. So just sort of wipe it off. Get all the junk off it. And now, I'm going to clean it one more time with some alcohol. A little alcohol in my little rag here. Go over this neck one more time. Get it nice and clean. And the alcohol, it cleans all the grease and grime and anything else that's on it. And it dries real fast, so it's not, you know, soaking into the wood, getting everything all wet. Okay. And that looks pretty good and clean right there. See how fast it dries up? Bam. Okay, now that we've got that all straight, if you've seen our channel before, you know what's coming up next. It is the good old coconut oil on the fretboard. Boy, that's just dry as a bone, and the alcohol hasn't helped. You know, dried it out a little bit. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dig a little bit of coconut oil out of here. See, coconut oil is solid at room temperature. But as soon as it hits my finger, it starts getting all melty schmelty. And that's what I like, because it goes on in a liquid state, and then after you let it set for a second, it solids back up for when you want to take it off, when you want to wipe it off. And that way it kind of stays there. But it don't soak in a lot. Not like a regular liquid oil, this liquid all the time would do. It doesn't soak in, so it doesn't get your wood too wet. And, you know, wet wood leads to frets that are popping up, or just, you know, things that your fretboard's not supposed to do. It starts doing, because it's too moist. You know, wood gets soggy when it gets too much moisture. You definitely don't ever really want to use, you know, water on it. You know, definitely don't want to let it sit on there. I mean, you can spray it down and wipe it off, I suppose, real quick. But I can think of a lot better things to use to clean your fretboard with. Especially if it's dirty, you know. It's all right to wipe down the body with soap and water. In fact, I recommend that. That's the safe way of cleaning your body when you're not really sure what you got there. You know, and that'll clean it off and get all the schmutz off of it and everything like that. It should be just exactly what you need. All right, I got a nice coating on there of some coconut oil. And you can see that it's already nice and shiny. And so, well, you know, got a couple little dry spots that I don't like. Right down here, it's a little bit dry, not enough. Man. Because I gotta imagine this fretboard has probably never seen any kind of moisture, any kind of, you know, fretboard dressing or anything like that, any kind of moisture whatsoever. So, what we're going to do here is we're just going to leave this sit on here for a minute or two. Come back and wipe it off. When I get ready to come back and wipe it off, I'll be back. You know the routine. Alright, we gave this about 10 minutes to kind of solid up, I guess, a little bit. And you can see that it's, I don't know if you really can see it, but it's dull. It's turned kind of white again. So I'm just going to take some tissue here. I'm going to widen out a little bit. And just, you know, give this a little wipe down. Just kind of try to get the excess off of it. You know, just kind of get it so it's wiped off, and we'll wipe this off. Then we'll wipe it down with maybe another piece of tissue, and we get all the out of the cracks and stuff. So I want to have a bunch of coconut oil crammed down the cracks. Boy, some of that glue was just tough, man. You can still see it down here. And I did the best I could with it. Try to get it looking nice. Because I still ain't done with it, you know. Guitars can put up a fight, but, you know, I usually get them all wrangled, and they're like a, you know, like a wild horse. You gotta break them. Get a saddle on them. All right, we got that pretty well cleaned up right there, and it is looking a whole lot better. Oh yeah, and nice and smooth too. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're going to come down here, and I'm gonna clean up some of the stuff, get out of the way. All right, some of these sanding things. And next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the bada boom, bada bing, over the tuners and stuff like that. We're going to make sure that these are all doing what they're supposed to do. And, see if I can find a socket to fit that. No, that's too small. Oops. Alright, there we go. Alright, let me get my other piece. Here we go. Alright. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over all these right here, make sure they're all tight, you know, because they can be loosened right up real nice, real easily. I think they're all just a little bit loose, but not bad. Alright, that's pretty good shape. Alright, now, we'll flip it over. We're going to make sure that the back screws are nice and tight. The screwdriver right here. I'll just kind of give them a little turn. Now, most of them seem like they're doing pretty good. But, nope. Yep, they're all good. Yep. Now, we have this little plastic on there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we're going to take that plastic off of there. Because that's nice and shiny underneath there. There's no reason to have that on there. It just comes off. It's been on there. Factory puts it on there just to keep things, you know, nice and shiny and stuff. You're supposed to take off. Just like there's plastic on the pick guards. You know, there's plastic on the pickups a lot of times. You know, you take all that stuff off. Of course, this guitar still has the pick guard plastic on it, so we'll probably leave that on there. I'll just tell them about it. See, we got that all nice and shiny now. Oh yeah, shiny brand new ones. Okay, I'm gonna go get something to clean this guitar up with, and when I get something, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. We got the tuners all tightened up and stuff like that, and we got this guitar right down to, you know, not too much stuff on it. So basically what I want to do right now is I just kind of want to go over it and get it cleaned up some. You know, it's a good chance, it's a good time to get at things, you know, wipe down, get it to start looking good. So I just got a little wet rag here with a little bit of soap in it. Not a whole lot of soap, just a little bit. And we're just kind of getting things wet. And we're going to, you know, kind of scrubbing it off a little bit. And I got a towel, a dry towel here, handy. And as soon as I get done wiping this front down, I'm going to dry it off. Because I don't want it to get too wet. But I do want it to get wet enough so that, you know, the stuck-on stuff has had a chance to hydrate and get, you know, off of there, you know, and be able to be washed off. Because the crud has to, you know, kind of get a little bit of moisture in it. So it'll come off. You know, basic dishes 101, you know. So, get in there. Get it all like that. Pretty good. Okay. And then, I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off. Towel here. Kind of give it a quick dry. Well, not too worried about it. We're just trying to get it clean right now. Not trying to worry about too much about it. Get it all polished and pretty. Okay. Now it's time to flip it over. Same thing to the back. Just kind of wipe it off. Get it nice and clean. And so forth on the rest of the guitar, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and wipe all this thing down. Get it all nice and clean and shiny. I'll probably spray it down with a little bit of stuff, but I'll let you know. I'll be back when I get ready to spray it down. Well, this thing turned out like a brand new penny. And I cannot believe that from a wet, soapy rag and a dry towel, we went from looking kind of funky and grungy to shining like I don't know what. Look at that. Look at the finish on that. Look at how clean and shiny at the back. Dude. I mean, it's like brand new. Oh, I see a spot I missed. See a couple spots I missed. Back of the neck. Perfect. Tuners. Front. Man, look at that headstock shine. Firefly. They ain't playing around. Firefly's got a good thing going on. If you ask me. I ain't seen nothing but quality on this guitar so far. Haven't seen anything wrong with it. Everything's looking good. You know, it needs a little bit more shining up and stuff like that. But for now, I think it's looking pretty good. So I think we can go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is going to be, oh yeah, I forgot, I got to put a little bit of lubrication in the tuners, and then I gotta want to radius the pole pieces on the pickups there, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clean up the pick guard and the tailpiece and the bridge and all that kind of good stuff. Get everything ready to go back on it, because pretty soon, oh yeah, we gotta clean the lube up the controls and stuff too. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, we're gonna lube the controls and make sure that they're all good and tight, and that all the little stuff like where the pickup jack is, or you know, the output jack is, get all that stuff. All the strap buttons, make sure they're tight. We're gonna get all that stuff done, and you know, so it takes a couple minutes. And I'll tell you what, let me get some of this stuff ready, and we'll be back. All right, went ahead and lubed up the pots here, made sure that everything was turning real nice and easy. Got some lubrication in there and stuff like that, and the switch. Tightened up all the output jack and the strap buttons and stuff. And I also took the radius gauge here, see the little radius gauge here, because this is a 14-inch radius neck. We already measured it, and we radiused the pole pieces with the little floppy feeler gauge here. You just sort of stick it on there, and you know, when there's no gap and they're even all the way across, you know, you got it at 14. And that helps for the magnetism, so that it makes a nice, easy, and even magnetic field for the strings to ride in. See, it gets a nice flat field across there, and then the strings ride in that field, and we get, you know, optimum performance out of our pickups. So everything has been checked, everything's been gone over, and we're ready to. Also did the tailpiece, got the tailpiece all cleaned up, got the bridge all taken care of, all cleaned up and brushed off and cleaned up, and you know, it wasn't really dirty to begin with. So we're going to go ahead and put the posts back in. I guess I'm not really worried about these posts too much. They're a little loose, but that's what we're going with. Put those in all the way down, and we'll raise them on up. Okay, we'll put our bridge back on. And we want to put that so that the adjustments are in the front. Of course, you know, I don't really think it makes much difference anyways, but we're going to put it so they're in the back. Of course, the reason for that is my brake angle. Yeah, this goes on like this, you know, and some guitars, you know, you got room back here, but when you got this tailpiece back here, we'll do a tailpiece right here. When you got the tailpiece back here, you know, and the strings are coming out from it, you don't want them to break, and if they could be hitting the string and stuff over here. If this is on, the screws are on this side, they could be hitting the strings and junk. So you want this side clear, and so that the strings got room to go over there. So and if the strings are, you know, going over the bridge here and they're touching the back of this bridge here, well, then you need to raise the tailpiece up a little bit so the strings have a little bit of a gap. And we'll take the feeler gauge and we'll go along in there and make sure that we can run it across there without it, you know, that none of the strings are touching. Because that'll add, that right there, if the strings are touching right across here, will add a little extra buzz to the guitar. The string won't ring out the same, you know, because it's hitting on that thing there. So we want to make sure that's straight. So other than that, we got to put this other ones back in here. And whoa, let's not run that across there. Alright. And I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get these parts on here. And then I'm going to give it one more spray down with my wax and dry, the kind of spray on wax that you use on your car. I got some of that, some good old turtle wax, and we spray a little bit of that on there. Shake it up real good, you know. Just a little bit of this stuff here, wax and dry, you know. And we just kind of, you know, spray it on a little bit. Don't use a whole lot. Try to keep it off the fretboard. Okay. And I'll rub it around a little bit with my hand. Try to get it everywhere. And, you know, it puts a nice little shine on things. It's things real nice and shiny and smooth and clean. And, you know, it has a nice little smell to it. It's a real nice, pleasant odor. All right. And now put a little bit on the back side, too. Back here, boom, bada bing. And we'll just kind of rub that around a little bit. A little bit down the sides. You know. Steal a little bit off the back, put it on the sides. You know, just a little bit. Alright, now we're going to go wiping it off. Start from the front. That's where we started. Just wiping it off. Big old clean towel. We're not really trying to get too, might as well just take that out of there. Too, detail on this first swipe. I'm just trying to get some of the bulk off of it so it's not dry, and then we go back and once we get it, you know, most of it off of there, go back, polish it up real nice, and then we'll finish doing our setup and all that stuff. I just want to get a coat on it before we start putting strings on it and stuff. It's easier to get to that spot underneath the strings now than it is later. Whew, can't believe how nice and shiny it's turned out. Looky. And I haven't even rebuffed that front yet. There we go. Whoo, ooh, clean. Look at that. Isn't it shiny? Woo! Well, doggy. Yeah, that is shiny. Okay. Polish it with 1 inch of its life. And we'll give it one more good wipe down and detailed cleaning when we get done. But now it's got a nice coat of wax, or, you know, it's got a coat of protection on it. And we can go ahead and do what we got to do to it. Sometimes you see stuff. But it's going to be alright. She's looking good. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some strings on it. Hallelujah. It's time for strings. Alright, let's see. Put the bridge back on it. And we're going to put the tailpiece back on it yet. And by special request, we're going to put some Ernie Ball 10 through 46, some 10s on this, because I'm pretty sure that's what the customer likes, and I'm hoping that's what he likes, but I'm pretty sure that is what he likes. So, I know you don't like the 9s, so we're putting the 10s on it. I'll save this package just to show him, because he watches the video now too, right? Alright, enough fooling around. Let's get some strings on it. Alright. Yeah. You know, to tell you the truth, I'm not real happy with this fretboard yet. Still has a couple of spots here that I'm just not in love with. I'd like to see them go away. I might be just, you know, out of luck. But a couple of them are going away, so, you know, before I go put the strings on it, I want to kind of maybe see if I can't knock some of these spots down. Just make them look a little bit prettier. And then we're going to hit it with coconut oil one more time. Ooh, I don't like that. Now, what is that? Some punk on there? I don't know. See any place else? Yeah, just trying to get these last little spots. You know, it's gotta look nice. And I'm really trying to go the extra mile on some of these to make them just perfect. You know. And this is just, I'm using the flat part of the blade. You know, it's not even a blade, just the flat part. And we're kind of just going over it. And I think I might just hit it with the steel wool one more time. Just kind of give it a light little going over. Yeah, see, now I'm still seeing stuff. There we go. Oh, drop my thing. Alright, well, I'll be back when I get this neck just perfect. Thank you. Alright. I got it pretty much to where I want it. Neck's looking pretty good. I put another coat of coconut oil on it. We're going to let that set for a few minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to get things cleaned up around here just a little bit. I'm going to put my strings away. Okay. Alright. Let's get all the scratchies and ouchies out of here so we don't, you know, be doing no scratching tools out here. Don't need that. No more. Alright. Bring our pits back to zero, like they say sometimes. Alright, sandpaper over here. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, it's looking more like a workbench instead of a junkyard. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to get me a little piece of tissue here. Alright. Just going to go over this and wipe it off. I just wanted to put a little fresh life into that because I had to sand on the wood a little bit. Scrape it and make sure it was looking good. So, that's what we're going to do. Oh, it looks like I got a little bit of junk off there. That's probably just from the nickel in the frets. And of course, there's still a little bit of stuff here. I didn't get exactly everything, but there was a lot of stuff, a lot of glue. I don't know what somebody did to this guitar at one time, but it wasn't good. Alright. Alright, now that I got that wiped down, all the glue off there, I think I'm just going to give it a nice, one more nice little wipe down. You know, get the neck especially. Get the body. You know, lay it back down there. There we go. You can get the neck. Alright. Alright. Now we got that taken care of. Now we can put some strings on it. Alright. Start with number 46 here. We are not going to top wrap them or nothing like that. We're just going to put them in regular. Oops, wrong way. Wrong way, Einstein. Alright, put that on there like that. We'll run this down here. Let's see, do we want to watch this part? Where we put the strings on? It's so interesting. Well, it can be interesting. Alright. So let's get tucked in down here. So that's where we're at. We'll move it down a little bit more. Burp. How's that? Hey, it's perfect, right in the shot. Okay. Here's the old routine. I get it all in the other end down here and pull it tight. You know, just pull it kind of tight. And what I do is I take from my knuckle here to the end of my finger, and I measure that amount. And I put the other finger up there, and then I'll just kind of hold on to that spot. And put my string through. Okay. And then once I get up to there, with where I'm pinching the string, I'll wrap it around the top. Wrap it around the top once, like that, okay? It goes over the string that went through the middle of the tuner. Okay, then I'll take that middle string and poke it up like that. And now, I'll go ahead and wind this up. And the rest of the windings are going to go under the string that goes through the tuner, that goes through the middle there. Okay, we're We're just going to wind that up until we get all wound up to a decent, not tight. Make sure everything's straight down there, not tight. But what I want to do is I want to bring it around to the outside here. I'm going to bring the string around to the outside because oh, there they are. I got them. I got my cutters, and I'm going to go in here and see how I use the back side of the cutter so I can get in there nice and close and tight, and that way I can get in there right across there and just snip that right off. And I like the big cutters because it takes a little bit of a cut, to cut some of these off. So you've seen me do a string here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of these strings. Same way. Same boring way. And when I get some strings on this thing all the way, hey, I'll be back to see you guys and I'll show you the rest of it. Alright, I'm back and we got some strings on it. Hey. But they're not playing too good. They're awful loose still because I don't want to tighten them up quite yet because I got to set the string height. So we're going to set the string height on the outside. So I'm going to tighten this big fat E string up just a little bit. Just get in the neighborhood. Okay. And then I'm going to find my screwdriver. I think I put it over here. Here we go. Okay. And we're just going to turn this up. And turn the other side up a little bit too. Okay. Alright, tell you what. I'm going to go see what the dogs are barking at, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back, folks. And what we're going to do now, or what I did is I got some strings on this, as you can see. And I got them all tuned up. And what I'm going to attempt to do now is to check the relief in there, see how much relief we got. Because I really don't want a whole lot in here, but we're going to get some. So let's put this right. We're going to put the straight edge right down the middle of there. We're just going to use our little feeler gauge here. We're going to go in here and about the right down the middle here, in the middle of this. It looks like we don't have very much relief at all, if any. Let me see. Let me get my other smaller feeler gauge, thinner, I should say. This one's a little bit thinner. Set that right in there and we'll see what we got. Yeah, I got about 6 thousandths, which is not too bad. Okay, so if we want to have a nice low action, which we do, we're going to leave it right about there. They all play. They're all playing up and down the neck. Okay, so let's see how much relief we have here, or how much string height I have. Let's try it with the other one. So that should be right at the 12th fret right there. Yep. Try this side here. So that side can go down a little bit, I think. Can go down just a hair. Let's give it a whirl again here. So you still go down a little bit more, I think. Then we'll give it another whirl and see what they all make sure all the strings play. Yeah, that's about what I want right there. Yep, they all play. Let's just try this side right here. What did we say that? Well, yeah, we already measured that, didn't we? All right, so we got our string height just the way we want it, I think. And we got, because we have the strings are tuned, so they're at the tension they're going to be. Okay. And then we went ahead and we set the string height so that you got it as low as you can get it, but just about as low as you can get it. And probably next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the pickup height here. And we're going to make sure those pickup heights are kind of tight too, because we want to get a little bit more oomph out of these pickups. So let me get a screwdriver here. Let's see where we are. Alrighty. Alright, let's see what we got here. We're going to use our trusty little gauge here, and I just kind of stick it underneath there like that. And I really do want it to be tight. That's what it is on this side. It's a bit tighter on that side. Oh, that's way too high. So that one needs to be down low, about even with the deck of the pickup ring. And I think we're even going to go a little bit lower. Let's see, right about. Well, maybe just up a little bit. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get both of these pickups at the same exact height away from the string. That way it doesn't matter what position you have the selector in, your treble or bridge, or neck or bridge, you're still going to get the same amount of oomph out of each one of them pickups. Let's see. That's way too tight. Down, down, down. Because we already radiused these. See, I want to kind of match up on the sides. See, that's just a little bit over that line. And that is not quite over the line yet. So I'm going to go down just a little bit. See, now I'm using my little gauge to measure. And it's nothing, it's simple, just it's a piece of a clothespin. But I've taken my micrometer, and I've measured right here at 3, and measured right here at 4. And I'm just trying to get it right. About 3 millimeters is where your sweet spot is on your magnetic field, okay? And I'm a little bit tight on that, so I want to get just a little bit lower. See, we're going to make them all the same. I'm making this one, so there's just a little over 3. A wee bit, and it's just till you get it until it's hitting the string. And then once I think I got it where I want it, okay, then we will go ahead and play it and make sure that it's just where you want it. See how that was a little bit, come up a little bit. Looks good to me. All right, cool. All right, let's see. What else we got to do? We got to tune it up. We got to stretch the strings. And we're going to go ahead and stretch the strings. And basically, when you stretch the strings, what you do is you get it tuned up, okay? And so we're going to check it. Be in tune here. Get rid of anything. I'm trying to get some of these tools out here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to tune it up one more time here. And we're going to go across the board and get it completely right, as dead, perfect in tune as we can get it. Well, we don't have to get it perfect in tune. But we're just going to get it in the ballpark here. Okay? And you can always tell, you can already tell this thing's got a lot of volume to it. And usually when a guitar is loud when it's not plugged in, that means it's pretty good. Alright, got it where we want it. It's tuned up, okay? Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the string in my hand just like this, kind of pick it up, and just sort of push in with these fingers and push. That's what I'm sort of giving it one of those. Okay? And then I might pull up on it a little bit. Grab that one and do the same thing. And I'm not trying to like do it real hard or anything, but just trying to stretch it a little bit, just a little bit. And it doesn't take but a couple times of stretching it, okay? Now I did that on all the strings, and now I'm going to go tune it back up. And it went down about half a step. Okay? And we're going to tune it up again. Stretching the strings is one of the best things you can do to keep your guitar in tune. Yeah, we'll put it back up to D. That one went down quite a bit. And the G went down a half a step. Looks like everything went down about a half a step. And we're not really tuning it back up to perfect. We're just... Now see, the E string didn't go down that much. And the E string will probably be the first string that will be completely stretched. Okay, so we stretched them, and then we tuned it back up, and now we're going to stretch them again. Same thing. And what we're doing is we're going to keep doing this process here until there is no more, till when we go back and we go to tune it up, it stays in tune. It's in tune at that point. See, I'll stretch these a couple more times, and then I'll go back, I'll stretch it, and then I'll check it for being in tune, and it'll be just barely out of tune. That's what I'm looking for. I want it so that all I got to do is just barely tune it up to the string, up to the note. And some of these strings are getting there already. Like the B here, just had to go a little bit. And the E just has to go a little bit. See, now we got them tuned back up. I'll check this E on the top again. Yep, okay. I'm just going to give it one more. And sometimes you can even get up here on this, do it up here on this hand too. You know? Just going to give it one of these. And what we're doing is we're taking the stretch out of these strings so that they will stay in tune. And we're not, you know, just taking some of the string, taking some of that old evil stretch out of there. Alright, let's tune it back up. Yeah, now see, now it barely takes anything. That D. The G is pretty close. B is pretty close. And the E is pretty much still right there too. Okay, so the D had stretched out the most. So, but we're going to go back over it one more time. You know. Give me a little once over. I mean, it's going to stay in tune now. Let's see. So that one went almost half a thing flat. Now the A string just barely. That's what I want on the A string. I think the A string is stretched. D string is definitely stretched, so it stayed right there. G stayed. B stayed. And the E stayed. So the big fat E is usually the last one to get stretched out all the way. And we'll give the A a little whirl too. There was a little bit out. So now we'll do it again. Now that E is still right there. A is still right there. D, G, B, and E is just man, it's right there. It don't matter. Okay. Okay, I got the E perfect. Perfectly tuned E. There. Okay, let's see what it looks like on the intonation. Oh, dead nuts. Yep, right on the money. B. There's the B. I got a feeling this thing's intonated. Okay, the B was dead. G, let's get the G right where it's supposed to be. G. Get that note perfect. Alright, try it right there. Perfect. Well, let me answer the phone. I'll be right back. Alright. It was just a scam call. I answered the Mojo Shop Guitar. Nothing. Alright, so it looks like we're intonated. Well, let's see. Where was I at? I think it was on the G, wasn't we? G was perfect. Okay. D's right on here. C, D, perfect. Nope. Needs just a little tweak rally. So it needs to go back just a little bit. So we're going to send it back a little bit. It needs to be just a little bit longer. Alright, let's try that now. Alright, try that. A little longer. Perfect D right there. Alrighty, well, that's what happened here. I got me a nice D. And it's still coming up a little bit shallow. There we go, perfect. Get that A on there. And A, come on. See where E is sitting. Oh, maybe that was the problem. E was a little bit sharp. See, if you're trying to do intonation, okay, you gotta make sure that they're all perfectly in tune at the time, because that's where you're gonna be sitting, you know. So we'll go back over and we'll try these again. Because if that, especially if that big fat E string is off, too is sharp or something, it's gonna throw things off. Right there. Alright, up in front of you. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, that better. Alright, we're going to work on these other two, and when we get them intonated, I'll be back. Well, alright, folks. Looks like we got this one pretty much all done. We are going to give it another shot of some wax to kind of give it a final spray down, clean up, wipe down, make it look pretty. But we got it playing, so it's playing perfect up and down the neck. No buzzing strings, no buzzing anything, everything looking perfect. And it just sounds really good. You know, it does sound really, 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 really good. You know, it's... Everything's playing perfectly in tune. It's intonated. It's, you know, it's doing what a guitar is supposed to do. And for a little, you know, for a, what did we say this guitar was again? Oh, that's right, a lowly little Firefly. You know, people think these ain't no good, but I'll tell you one thing, this thing ended up, you know, if I never looked up there, I'd swear I was working on a Gibson. It's got the triple binding around it. It's got good quality stuff on it. You know, it's doing what a guitar is supposed to do, and I'm liking it. And we're gonna clean it up and get it all ready because the customer is ready for it. And he just called and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be here in about an hour. Pick it up." He's stoked. He's ready. And you know, I think that he's really gonna like this one. And I think it's going to play for him real nice. Sometimes you just have a feeling about a guitar. And I think he's going to really like this one. So, you know, I'm going to maybe, I don't know. But, you know, it is sounding pretty good here, you know. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and plug it in for a second. We're just going to plug it in real casual like, you know. We're just playing this through our little funky little practice amp, you know. Yeah, sounds real good. Well, I'm going to call this another successful build. Well, we didn't build it, but, you know, another successful setup. You know, we took a regular, ordinary old guitar, and we made it a contender. Something you can take on stage, you can play. It's going to play good. It's going to play, you know, in tune. It's going to do what a guitar is supposed to do for not all that money. You know, if this was a Gibson, this thing would be, you know, $1,500, $1,600 probably, you know. But it's a FIREFLY, and it was probably $200, you know, $160. And that's the kind of quality you can get. You know, it's a satin neck. It's, you know, it's a no-brainer. You know, you buy one of these, you bring it to a guy like me, you get it perfect, get it what it's supposed to do, and bam, bada boom, bada bing, you just saved yourself a lot of money, and you got a fine instrument to play. You know, there's no slouch whatsoever. And so I'm going to say this is a good one here. And the customer's on his way. We get it all shined up. And tell you what, let me get it shined up for you. And I'll be back in a minute. Well, maybe I won't be back in a minute. Maybe we'll just shine it up. What do you say? First thing we'll do is unplug it from the amp, okay? And I'm just going to I'm going to put the towel over the neck. Because I don't really want to get anything on the neck too much. So we'll just put a little towel over the neck. We'll spray this down a little bit. And I like to we're going to get a little bit more up there too. So that's where all the funk's at. Okay, we're just going to I kind of like to rub it around a little bit with my fingers. Just to sort of agitate loose anything that I'm trying to get loose. And this stuff is real nice and smooth, so I'm not worried about scratching anything or messing anything up like that, okay? Alright. Now we'll just take our towel. I like to stand it up. And just sort of give it a nice preliminary wipe down to get the most of it. And what we'll do is we'll get it all nice and polishy, all nice and clean and detailed out, real beautiful, so everything is shining like a new penny on it. And then we'll sit it over on the stand in front of the MOJO shop's guitar sign. That way, when he comes over and when he comes in, he sees it sitting there all nice and proud. Bam, you know. So that's the way we like it. It's hard to get them suckers. Getting all nice and clean. Getting all nice and clean. Getting all the little areas down there. And I'll tell you what. When I get done wiping this thing down, because I got to do the headstock, back of the neck, and stuff like that, we'll take a look at it. All right. We gave it a nice wipe down. And man, it is really, really, really shining. So it's shining in looks, and it's shining in playing too. Man, whew. And you know, it's about as light as a feather. You know, hollow body, good sound. Back of the neck's looking real nice. Everything's looking real good. Back of the headstock, nice and clean, shiny. Front of the headstock. Yeah, it's a Firefly. But man, it sure is looking good. Look at that binding. It's got a nice nut on it. Some nice inlays. You know, everything was nice and smooth on it. I didn't see anything that was really, you know, that gave me any trouble at all. It pretty much cleaned up real nice. Looks real nice. It plays real nice. Everything turned out real nice. You know, it's nice. So, I'm going to say this is another successful setup. And another successful job. One more guitar that gets to go on and play the way it's supposed to. So, I'm going to say adios for now. From MOJO Shop Guitar. Baby! Thank you for watching MOJO Shop.